Many expats and repats take up the adventure of moving to Jamaica. However, we are hearing some stories of people who are reverse migrating, and it's keen to find out why are they actually taking up the path of moving from Jamaica and going back to the countries that they were escaping in the first place. And in today's video, we're going to take a look at that. So let's jump into it.
The Jam Fam family. Jam Fam, come hang with me. Yeah.
Hello, Wagwan. Pick up yourself, whether you're there yard or you're there abroad. Welcome back to another episode of Life with the Jam Fams. In today's video, we're going to be looking at some of the reasons expats and repats are reverse migrating from Jamaica. And we will tell you a few of these reasons, and so that it gives you an opportunity to factor these into your plan if you are planning to repatriate or expatriate to Jamaica. Now, one of the key things is Jamaica's growing development. So, for instance, technologically. So although many companies are trying to get technologically savvy, there are companies that haven't yet gotten to that point. Many of the companies in Jamaica are trying to get themselves into a position where they are technologically savvy and therefore providing opportunities to Jamaicans to do more things using technology. However, there are still companies in Jamaica that haven't yet gotten to that stage. And some of the companies that have already done so, sometimes their interaction with their software and their systems that they have set up can sometimes feel more regressive than it is progressive. It does take time before some of these systems are cemented or embedded. And what this does is, for people who are coming from environments where they are used to things running smoothly and more effectively and efficiently, it can breed a level of frustration and aggravation because they are now being set back and their time is not being utilized in the best way possible. And they know that there can be better outcomes and better ways of doing things, and they're not necessarily getting that in their interactions and exchanges. And although they might make suggestions, doesn't mean that those suggestions are being implemented. Although Jamaica have a relatively low cost of living when compared to some of the other countries, and if you want more information on that, you can have a look at our video that we've done, which showcases statistics about cost of living, comparing it with Jamaica, with the UK, the USA, and Canada. So although Jamaica has a relatively lower cost of living than these countries, many people who are moving back to Jamaica are seeking to move into areas that are in metropolitan areas like Kingston and St. Andrew, or the Montego Bay area, or other areas on the north coast like Ocho Rios and areas around there. And those areas can oftentimes be very expensive because it is in high demand. The population in those areas tend to be higher than the population in a lot of other areas in Jamaica. And so cost of living in terms of rent and or buying property tend to be a lot higher than it would be in many other areas that can give you a high quality of life if you choose to go there. They're just not as popular as those other areas. And so when people come and they choose to live in those areas, they find that the monies that they've put aside to spend, they're getting through it a lot quicker, or the amount of money that they're actually earning is not sufficiently covering those living expenses to give them the opportunities to do some of the recreational activities that they also want to incorporate in their lifestyle living in Jamaica. The next factor that some people have mentioned is their reason for why they're moving from Jamaica and going back to the countries that they had come from to come to Jamaica in the first place is because of the accessibility and the ease of operations within the country. So with regards to how much time it takes, the number of delays that they have to experience, and the quality of services that they're getting. And it is subpar, it is under what they're expecting. And they do not believe that it is a healthy way for them to operate because of what they are used to. And a lot of people have made compromises just so that they can stay here and live out what they had planned for themselves. But inevitably, when everything is compacted on each other, they then decide that the best option to take is to leave the country because of these reasons. Another factor is the level of mediocrity. So it's the settling for the status quo that they see commonplace in the country, in terms of how people will just settle for the incompetence that they experience and justifying of those levels of inefficiency that they see. And what they are looking forward to is to seeing efficiency being built in to the mechanisms of how the country is being operated and the interactions that they're having with organizations and companies alike, so that they are able to have a better experience where quality and the duty of care is paramount in their interactions with individuals, because these are some of the things that turns people off from wanting to interact. And if you're going to live in Jamaica, you are going to need to interact with organizations. And if mediocrity is your constant experience, then people are going to be in a place where they are unhappy about these encounters, and recognizing that their complaints do not get carried in the way that they would hope for it to see impact in terms of change in the way in which the interface between the companies and the customers. And as such, it puts them in a position of wanting to go elsewhere where they know that this is something that they would be experiencing. One of the other factors that have been mentioned from some people who are looking to move back to their country, or some who've already moved back, is about the earning power when they're in Jamaica. And some of these people have mentioned the fact that, their savings had run out, or the monies that they have to sustain themselves whilst here has run out. Some of these people are people who are coming to set up business, but when they take into consideration the amount of delays that they have gone through, and some of the times the quotations that they're getting to get jobs done and things like these, have a negative impact on their ability to set up the businesses that they're planning to set up and get it to work as efficiently as they would want it to. And in terms of the returns that they're getting, that isn't coming as quick enough. And so some of them are having to either scrap their idea of setting up a business or selling the business that they've set up so that they can move back to the country that they're coming from. Others come as remote workers, and in such, some of the companies might want them to touch base with the organization in the country that the job is based more frequently. And as such, it means that the constant traveling to and fro, especially if there are people living in Europe, might be too costly. And as such, it would be a better decision for them to return to those places that they were living initially. There are people who have issues in terms of the investment that they've set up in Jamaica and the way that it is progressing for them. And that is something for a whole conversation in its entirety, to look at investment possibilities and investment funds, and whether or not that is something that is going to be sustaining their living and their survival here on the island. Additionally, there is the consideration of Jamaican pay packages for people who have taken on jobs that they're coming to Jamaica to work with. And some people have seen this as an issue because of, firstly, some people come to Jamaica and trying to find the job here before. So they move before finding the job. And what they find is the gatekeeping that they're exposed to, where it becomes a challenge for them to get into these job fields, even though the jobs are there. It's the systematic process within which keeps closing them out from the opportunity. Either they're being told that they're too qualified, they're too experienced, and other things like that. And then there are those people who the jobs that they are therefore able to get doesn't reflect the type of expenses that they have in their daily expenditures. And as such, it doesn't profit them. There are people who have come and have mentioned to us that they have come, but they found a job before they arrived. And as such, they were able to work out the pay package and all of those things to make sure that it is going to work out for them in terms of what they're getting and the allowances that also comes with that. Now, the last one we're going to talk about from some of the people who have given us feedback in terms of why they are leaving Jamaica or why they are looking to leave Jamaica, and some of those who've already left, is in regards to the enforcement of law and the respect for human rights in the country. So some of the things, although the laws are in place, they are not as effectively and efficiently enforced as they are in other countries. And as such, that poses a problem for them living here. Also, the amount of infringements that they sometimes experience on their human rights, whereas if they were living in the country they're coming from, less infringement would be on their human rights in those regards. And a lot of that have to do with in terms of being a consumer and their exposure in certain areas where they live, and the level of respect for those, because the laws with regards to those aren't as enforced as it would have been in the countries that they're coming from, or those laws are not as respected as much as it would have been in the countries that they're coming from. So there are lots of different issues, and moving to Jamaica requires an adjustment of how we think and the experience, and oftentimes it has to do with what sort of lifestyle that you want to live. And wherever you go, there are going to be challenges and there are going to be struggles. It is primarily about which struggle are you prepared to accept and work around. One have to look at what it is that you want to achieve. So in terms of your priorities, what are the benefits to you, and what are some of the things that you want to ensure that you have? What are the things that are essential? What are the things that are foundational that you need in order to build on? And these are some of the things that people consider and then decide whether or not it is worth remaining in Jamaica or reverse migrating to the countries that they were escaping in the first place. Let us know in the comments below. Are you currently in Jamaica and you're planning to go back to the country that you came from? Or have you left Jamaica and to go back to the country that you came from and would like to share with us some of your views about why you made that choice in the first place? We would like to hear from you. We look forward to hearing your views on some of the reasons that had prompted your reverse migration as well. I have not had this much water fun in ages, but when you're the mother of an only child, sometimes you end up having to do things. So I normally go with my cautiousness, and I was cautious today, but I nonetheless decided I'm going to have fun because she needs company to play around with in the water. So I did get to work out my muscles and have some fun, thank you, in the water. So she's now in, and I'm going to go and join her for a little bit before we need to get going. And there she is, wondering why I'm not coming in. I'll be there in a second. I'll meet you on the other side. Okay. I'm gonna set up the camera. Okay, I'll see you on the other side. So now I'm going to go and meet her on the other side. Say bye to YS Falls once more. They're getting into solar. That's a solar farm. Look at this water. They're getting into solar and putting up their panels, which is good. A lot of people are getting involved into it. Look at all that greenery. Lush vegetation and food forest. That water is so crystal clear. bridge. It's just the little things. Of course, none of these areas are open to the public because it's the bit that goes through the pastures that we use the shuttle to go when we're going up. But it's still beautiful to see. Are they red coat? Oh, red coat, okay. And that's the kettle. A big herd right here. Now we've come to the end of an awesome day. Oh my goodness. It was a good day though, wasn't it? Lots of fun. I haven't had that much fun in a long time myself. So it was great. It was awesome that we had the park almost to ourselves. It was wonderful. You have the time when you come, so it's not too congested.
The Jam Fam family. Where living the good life. We're royal, cruising through the West Indies, having fun, enjoying the good life. Jam Fam family, the Jam Fam family, yeah. The Jam Fam family. Where living the good life. We're royal, cruising through the West Indies, having fun, enjoying the good life. Jam Fam family, the Jam Fam family, yeah. The Jam Fam family. Jam Fam, come hang with me, yeah.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on this another episode of Life with the Jam Fams. Bye for now, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.